Stavros Tousios for M4Markets. They're going to look at the US dollar index and gold. We have talked about the dollar index correction. I don't remember exactly when it was, a few weeks ago perhaps. And we have seen now prices coming all the way up to this channel, the base channel that we have drawn. And we said that it's likely to act as an actual magnet zone, with now, of course, a reaction exactly on it as a resistance, and is at 105.40 or so, above the 23, below the 38, and we see no divergence, okay, which is important. Now, some of you might think this can continue lower down now, although that might be true in the short term, okay, because we currently see something of a correction here taking place. Okay, let's not forget that there is quite a few cases here that we could actually see play out. One would be to consolidate until we break, and the break, it might be to the upside in this case if we do consolidate here, especially if we do see a triangle pattern, or we could just go straight up from here and do another leg to the upside that is going to offer us finally, because we don't see it, an actual divergence. Okay, the other case of course would be to continue to fall. We might find support at 104 or so, which is a very big support level, not just from the Fibonacci perspective, but also as we see the activity here. And at the same time, maybe we're going to be offered another sort of hidden bullish divergence signal here as well. We do see that actually popping currently from there to there. You see there is a lower low on the RSI, but there is a higher low on prices. So I would be a little bit cautious about how much or how long for we're going to see, or we want to see dollar falling, right? That without that, of course, necessarily meaning that it cannot fall lower. Typically, we look at the 100 extension to see where we could be heading. That is around 104.20 at the current time. But at the same time, we also assume that the high is in now and we have had a correction high, which means further continuation to the downside. But I will be again remaining cautious, as I said before, because that could really consolidate into a triangle, and that would typically indicate there is going to be more a move towards the direction of the predominant trend, which is to the upside, at least from the low, rather than anything else. Now, when we look at gold, we looked at this sort of rejection the other time. We identified a potential bounce at this particular level as well, because it's a very important level, given, of course, this channel, it's actually starting down in September. So it's a multi-month channel holding this uptrend together still. So we would get a bounce here one way or another, with a false break or without. And now we are seeing it and we're moving up. We haven't gotten to the 23 yet. Okay, we've just barely come back within, because dollar is falling at the same time. Let's not forget they are quite correlated. And we have recently just broken outside this channel to the downside, right? Now, this means it's either going to be a false break and we're going to go down all the way, which I don't think it's going to be the case, or we might see this ending a 5-way move initially, then get a pullback to retest the channel, or perhaps even lower, and from there continue to the upside. And that, of course, would suggest that we are likely to see this trend continue in the short to medium term, with the short term potentially giving us a pullback, since we also see a RSI divergence over here on the 1 hour. Okay, let's not forget what we're dealing with here. And typically we have corrections down to around the 50%, okay, or between the 38 and 62. That can bring us, if we assume the high is in anywhere between 1824 and 1816, and from there you know, the sort of price action would imply that there is going to be at least one more 5-way move to the upside, since actually markets moves in either 3 waves or 5 waves. So the 5, the 3, and the 5 would be the scenario I'm actually expecting. So a little bit of a pullback here is not going to mean that we are reversing.